You had mentioned that you sort of introduce a lot of these new products during shows, so you've got a lot, I suppose, on the drawing board that maybe you're not telling us about.
I do. We have a lot on the drawing board, definitely. We're trying our best to listen to the customer, and as we listen, many of the things are right there in front of us, these easy problems to solve. Hey, I don't want my tile to crack. Okay, well, that's easy. But when it starts coming down to, I want to be able to have various types of labor install this thin tile. So how do we make it so that it's capable but yet easy enough for a guy that maybe doesn't have 30 years experience? That's a big challenge. That's a really big challenge. And so we're trying to attack some of these problems from multiple different angles. In our mind, if I can do it, no installer should worry about me taking their job. But if I can achieve a successful project, then that product should live. Make it as simple as possible. Simple, it's Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the right one.
And if you do it, and if you can do it, they figure anybody.
Exactly. If somebody like I can do it, almost anybody can do it.
Now, that's an interesting point. There's a lot of installers out there that are craftsmen of the first order. There's a lot of them out there that have probably been doing the same thing 30 years incorrectly. Yeah. And with new always coming out, even people that have been around a while really need new education. And I guess that's a hard part, is getting that wisdom in other people's heads.
It is a challenge. It's a real challenge. That's why we put our money where our mouth is. We wholeheartily support programs like the NTCA, CTEF programs, the 5-star certification programs. We're big into the Trail of Excellence. We also supply education to architects via all sorts of architectural functions that we do as a company. We supply a lot of training through our PTK, Profit Through Knowledge trainings that we do on all of our facilities. So education is a huge component of our technical services. And we feel like that is seeding the future, helping installers become better at what they do, more efficient, even if they've been in business for 30 years, or we even have, in some cases, installers have been in business for 100 years, believe it or not. But we still think that keeping a good touch on those guys are not only going to help us be better by stepping up to the plate as artists with them and on what we do, but also helping them educate their staff, because everyone's trying to train that next generation. And we not only want to provide the next generation of materials, but also a good pathway where people can learn how to do their craft and be profitable. Because really, at the end of the day, we're all businessmen, and we want to support those guys.
Let me ask you to show us some of this. Perhaps you can show us this first.
This is the easiest one. We're standing next to Strata-mat here.
Let me hand you this, and I'm going to get behind the camera.
Okay, great. All right, so Strata-mat's a new product for this year. In fact, June 1st is its debut. And we started with an idea that is really a challenge on our industry, substrates. So a lot of, especially residential applications, will have a challenge substrate. The contractors like to use substrates that aren't necessarily applicable for direct adhered application to tile. Also, we know that there's a lot of challenges when it comes to remediating that substrate or making that substrate ready to accept tile. So Strata-mat's one of those products that will allow you to do that. It comes in rolls. It is made of plastic. But we started all the way back at the beginning of every shape or every color has to have a place, a reason for it to be there. So let's start with the color. One of the big challenges of adhering a large sheet of plastic to the floor is that you have to have a way to know that you have mortar covered underneath. So you're able to take your mortar, V-notch it down, and then roll your mat into it. And because this is an opaque material, if there's anywhere that there isn't coverage, then you'll have a white spot show up, and you'll know that instantly, hey, I don't have enough mortar under that, I need to put a little more, without having to pull it back. Also, a secondary benefit of that was that when you snap a chalk line on this mat, it shows up, and that really is helpful for people who lay out without the use of lasers. So the color, all the way down from the color and the shapes, I could get really detailed into why one shape is or another, but just the highlights are, we know that once again, tile's changing really rapidly. Tiles are getting larger. The larger they get, the more challenging they get. Well, we make many flavors of thin set. We make many flavors of medium bed mortars. And we know one of the challenges is, okay, if I have a large format porcelain tile and I have a challenged substrate, I need something to help me remediate the substrate, but yet let me use a medium bed modified mortar or a mortar that is applicable for the size tile or even type of tile. Well, in order to achieve that, we had to put little cuts in our mat, and those cuts will allow this mat to hydrate the mortar. So therefore, you use the correct mortar for the correct tile, even including a green marble. We have epoxy setting systems that you could use with this mat that you can install water-sensitive stone with. So I could go on and on about how the mechanical bond happens and all that, but really, without getting too much into the science, it's one of those situations where now the artist can focus on not the substrate, not worry about the substrate as much, put this mat down, install with using the correct industry-approved adhesives, and hopefully achieve a successful result. We're really excited about Strata-mat. We feel like that category's got a lot more growth ahead of it, and it's just one of those examples of a product from Laticrete, hopefully that will help the installer do their job better and faster. I could go on and on. We've got 12 new products here, but for brevity, this is one. We've got new drains. We've got new grout colors that have come out. There's a lot going on at Laticrete, that's for sure. Okay, so another new product from Laticrete that we're coming out with this year is primarily directed at, believe it or not tile. Laticrete for years has been known for tile and stone installation systems, but a lot of people don't know, we've recently changed our tagline. Now we are, if you look at my shirt, globally proven construction solutions. So we're looking at not just tile and stone for areas to innovate, but also places that are connected to tile and stone. We call those near neighbor categories. One of the near neighbor categories that we're actually showing here at the show is PaverLink. Now, PaverLink, this product that you're looking at here, is for the tile and stone professional. You'll be able to understand this analogy really quickly. This is SpectraLock for exterior pavers. Exterior pavers and walkways have always been challenged by weed intrusion, by freeze-thaw and cracking, by all kinds of things that make it so that it's a challenge to have an exterior paver live a long and healthy life. Well, PaverLink is a product that you broom in. You just broom it into the joint. It's once again one of those products that are simple enough that even I can use it. But you broom it into the joint. No water's required. You just broom it in, tool the joint, allow it to dry, and there you go. You have the strongest paver filler in America. This is a brand new product in America. It was tested extensively in Europe. This is another example of an international product that we've decided, hey, this has got a real place in America. So when you start thinking about projects like exterior kitchens and the way that they're finishing out swimming pool decks now, PaverLink is one of those products that you might not buy as a tile installer, but you may have an area that you can get some more revenue. Because really installing these blocks are very similar in challenges to installing thin tile. So it's one of those things that we can take our customers to a new area, hopefully a new area of profit and revenue for them, and give them science to achieve a lot of the challenges or overcome a lot of the challenges, and more importantly, backed by Laticrete International, who you already have a relationship with. So near neighbor areas that you can make more money.